Ladies and gentlemen, the worst of the week.
First nominee, it's Thaddeus Young. You remember Thaddeus Young, NBA vet? Well, he joined Zach Randolph and Tony Allen on their podcast, and he basically told them why he wasn't in love with playing in Toronto, why it was difficult for him. You'll hear, when you hear this clip, all of them. It's Thaddeus Young first, then Zach Randolph will jump in. I'll give you a little play-by-play as we go along. Thaddeus Young talks first, and then Tony Allen is a hilarious guy, all right? That's my pre-ramble. Here it is.
I ain't gonna lie. Being in Toronto is kind of tough.
Yeah,
it's tough.
I told your ass.
It's tough. It's tough to.
Family can't come there. None
it's
of
cool
that.
to
Zach
visit.
Randolph.
Be there for like 4 or 5 days. That's cool. But to live there, yeah, it's tough.
It's tough.
It was tough. It was tough on my family. Like you can see my son behind you.
If you like
shaking his head. Kid was ready to come home, man.
He like, you gotta go through customs all the time, man.
Yeah.
There's Tony Allen.
Almost like you at a disadvantage. Like we have to go through the airport every single time. Like you gotta go through the airport. Is the customs part of it? Like you mean to tell me I just paid for the package and I gotta pay you more money to get my package from you?
Come on, man.
Yeah, it's another country.
Customs?
Just
Then
send it
get
through the
stuck
mail.
at the border?
Just lie what's in the package.
Man, I got stuck at the border for 3-4 hours.
Man, every time I come with the team, I come to Toronto with the team. They pulling me and TA to the back every time. They ain't want to let us through that motherfucker. They had 100 questions for us.
There's Zach Randolph.
Hey, man, you, hold on, man.
1 year they told me don't even come, bro. Like,
Look, mind you, it's cold as hell while they read your name. You and that motherfucker shaking. Like, God damn, man, I ain't found my shit yet. Now, I promise you, God, listen, Toronto, I like kicking at your nightclub. I couldn't see myself playing that, man. Listen, at gunpoint.
Yeah, I was there for
with.
2 years. That was tough. I ain't gonna lie. And I had resigned back there.
Yeah, they paid you.
Yeah, that was tough. My kids was hurt. Oh, my wife was like, look. She said that you come back here. She said you might come back by yourself. We gonna stay at the crib.
yeah.
She's like, we gonna stay at the house.
Here's this part here.
She told me that about Minnesota too, though.
Very funny. Thaddeus Young explaining why Toronto was tough for him. The Out the Mud podcast sounds like a good time. The Tony Allen impression of
I didn't even know this was a podcast.
you find out that NBA players have podcasts all the time. That Tony Allen impression of somebody who works at the airport being cold.
That's awesome.
They do have heaters in Toronto. They have central heating in the airport, but that was very, very funny. Yeah, Thad, the complaint, he talked about his wife not wanting to go back, also not wanting to go to Minnesota, I guess because the crib is in Philadelphia or something. I don't know, wherever it is.
He's a Southern guy, right?
Yeah,
He played at Tech. I think he was born in Louisiana, but yeah.
Anyway, she wanted to be there. It wasn't that. I mean, Toronto, I guess, going through the airport was a bit of a pain. Sure.
Every time. This is nothing new. We've heard so many guys make that complaint that play for the Raptors that it's like, it sucks.
We have.
It's a late flight. You got to go through customs every time when you come back. That would suck. It would.
I hate filling out that form.
Now it's all an app, so it doesn't matter. But,
it's got much quicker.
Yeah, and I mean, I think I would personally suck it up if I was getting paid $14 million a year. I think I'd be okay with it, especially flying private back too.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, he did resign, like you said.
Yeah, you hated it so much you stayed.
I didn't hate it. $14 million.
Yeah.
It also sounds like he's a good family man.
Yeah.
His wife and kids were not on board.
no,
Sure.
And that's a major strike against the city right there.
And they also weren't in board for Minnesota. They wanted to be wherever they were from. And it's cold in the north. There's no point in Minnesota, even more north than Toronto. So he didn't like the airplanes and going through customs. Okay, fair. The customs paperwork that you got to fill out, he could have got around that. He was complaining about not the customs paperwork specifically for getting into the country. It was just for getting packages.
That's what he was talking about. I was a little confused by that.
I guess one time he had a package come along with him on the airplane, and they went through the customs bill when he got off it and looked at the package and said,
Right.
you got to pay again,
Yeah,
instead of
okay.
just shipping it to the house. Which you would have got around things. You can claim it to be a freaking, I don't know, a monstrous toothbrush or something. And it's a $5 fee. Like, it's why I said toothbrush is a weird one. But like
That's just my huge toothbrush.
I think they're gonna check that immediately.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Keep them clean.
It sounds actually expensive. A big toothbrush. Maybe a box of towels. How about that? Or something stupid. You can just claim it and say
Something
it ain't
simple.
worth that much.
Yeah.
And you can get it. Okay, so there's that complaint, really. That's the biggest complaint.
That's the biggest complaint. I will say, it sounds like streaming has been good for the Toronto sports scene. No complaints about the weird cable like
I was
Chris
gonna
Bosh
say.
was making back in the day.
I think Lou Williams complained about that too.
Yeah, he got all the
in day.
channels now.
Yeah. I remember
yeah.
him saying something about, we don't get all the channels down up here. Yeah.
And there's good shows out there. Lou Williams on FanDuel. He's doing that.
Yeah,
This one, Out the Mud.
It's a great
Looks-
name for these
Yeah,
guys.
yeah.
It's awesome.
It is a really good name for those
I
two.
thought all the good podcast names were gone, but they come up with one. Good stuff.